What is up, Envoys? And today I have a Mag Prime build for you. Now, before we start, it's gonna get a little crazy, especially with what we have on here, so just bear with me. So starting with the Archon Shards, we have 3 casting speed. Why did I do that? Cause it's absolutely hilarious to watch her instacast her 4, 2, and 3. Because it's just, you should try it. It's actually really fun, and it allows you to just cast so fast that you can easily move around and whatnot. As for the 2 blue you see here, it's for energy max, so we have at least 905. The reason we do that is because this build is so energy hungry, even with steadfast and flow, we run out of energy pretty fast. If you do not like this setup, especially with the Archon Shards, what you could do is replace one of these with red, or heck, even replace the 2 blues and 1 yellow with red, or duration, whichever one you feel like would be better. This just works for me. In addition, we are using Zata's Whisper over our 1, as it's another damage instance for us to use when it comes to using our 2. Now, moving on to the build itself, we are using Brief Respite to do some shield gating. It's really nice, especially with Polarize, as just another layer of defense in case we run out of energy, or just we need to just produce so much shields because of the content that we're doing. In addition, we are using Power Drift for some more strength, in addition to Transient Fortitude and Umbral Intensify. There is something you can do if you really wanted to, because we are using Seismic Bond on our companion, is use Blind Rage here for some more strength. However, you really don't need to, because you already are doing 100% armor reduction with Crush, but again, that's up to preference. Then we're also using Primed Continuity, Primed Flow, Archon Stretch for range and for more energy. Adaptation for defense. If you don't like adaptation, you are more than welcome to use Rolling Guard. If you don't like Rolling Guard, use adaptation. It's truthfully up to you. In addition, we are using the 2 augments, Magnetized Discharge. This allows you to recast Magnetize to explode and disarm enemies, which is really nice. In addition, we are using Fracturing Crush as well, so that way our 4 has even more casting speed, and we basically reduce the armor of enemies, basically fully armor stripping them. On top of the fact, as I mentioned, we are using Arcane Steadfast, as we do constantly cast our abilities, so this does help out a lot. And then Molt Augmented for more ability strength. So, for the weapons, you want weapons that do a lot of upfront damage for your 2 Magnetize. Now, for your primary, there are several options. I'm using the Penta, which I will show off, which was what we're actually going to be using through the Simulacrum and in the Steel Path solo run. We only use this for the projectiles that it produces. We don't let them explode, because we can easily recast Magnetize and the projectiles will move back into the bubble. There are several options if you do not like the Penta. You have the Nadaruk, which is very good because you can create a little red sun that just sits there and does a ton of damage. There are a few others. It just depends on what you want to do, but the Nadaruk, the Exorgist, here's another good one. This is really fun to use with her as well. But I prefer the Penta because it's hilarious, and I like using different weapons for different warframes, unless it's a stat stick, obviously. For the build for the Penta, little different setup here because we are using Galvanized Aptitude, Critical Delay, and Vital Sense. No chamber here. We are using Internal Bleeding because this is a impact weapon, and now we can do slash with it as well. And since our fire rate is below 2.5, it's doubled essentially. Amalgam Serration for damage and a little bit of sprint speed, and Malignant Force and Cryo Rounds for viral. In addition, we are using Primary Merciless, even though you normally don't put 2 instances of damage on a gun due to final damage. We really don't care about final damage with this weapon, as we are using the projectiles to do most of the damage, right? And front loading the damage is much more preferable than the final damage, right? And then Vigilante Supplies, so that way we can get ammo pickups for it. If you do not have a Riven, which this one's not the best Riven because it doesn't have a negative, I'm not really sure what you would put here. You could put chamber if you really wanted to, or a Bane mod, which would be preferable, especially with how we're doing things, as it would make the damage even higher. But I have this really nice ribbon, so we're going to use it. In addition, for our secondary, we are using the Akbronco Prime merely for the fact that we're also going to front load a ton of damage on it thanks to its augment, Damza Vati. If you don't know where to get this, you buy it from Father on Deimos. In addition, we are using Galvanized Diffusion, Prime Convulsion, Deep Freeze, Heated Charge for Heat, Magnetic Viral, Hornet Strike, Lethal Torrent, and Quick Draw merely for the fact that this weapon takes forever to reload. And just having this is just a quality of life. If you do not have, if you don't want to use this, pick whatever you want, honestly. Truthfully, I would rather have a Riven that has the reload speed so I can put a bunch of other stats on this thing. But unfortunately, I haven't been lucky with it, so. And then we also have Prime Steady Hands to help out with the recoil. And then we are also using Secondary Encumber to produce more status effects, which is phenomenal, especially with using her 2. There is a idea that you could use I keep forgetting, Fortifier, so that way you could produce Overguard. Yeah, you could if you really wanted to, but you will find more damage numbers with this as opposed to the more defenses with this, and we really don't need the defenses, right? And then finally, we are using the Praedos. I know I normally use this for a stat stick, but we are going to use this in case we do run out of energy, as all we have is the Akbronco and the Penta, and the Penta's not very good outside of using Magnetize. So we are using this to just help us with damage in case something horrible goes wrong. This is the build. I really won't go over it, as like I mentioned before, I normally use this as a stat stick for speed and parkour velocity. And then I'll just hover over these so you can see the evolutions that I'm using because they're still good. If you don't like the 2 passive stuff here that we use for stats, you could pick any of the other ones if you really wanted to. And for the companion, we are using my favorite hound, Glitchy, or the Bira Hound. Synergized Prospectus. I keep calling, I don't know why. It gets me every time. For electricity, so it procs Archon Stretch, Redirection, and then we have Null Audit to just help strip armor and just steal aura and abilities from Eximus units. Reflex Denial, so we can do some magnetic, and then Seismic Bond, so we have some efficiency. We will need this because even, like I said, even with 905 energy and Steadfast and Archon Stretch, you do run out of energy pretty fast, which is unfortunate. Vacuum, Guardian, just in case our shields run out as a backup, and Animal Instinct for loot radar and enemy radar. All right, moving on to the Simulacrum build, I'm just going to really show off the Penta and the Akbronco. So what we're going to do is we're going to strip these guys' armor, magnetize them, do this, and as you can see, it just deletes them. Simulate again. Blow up, pull them back in. All right. So then we're gonna do this. Blow it up. There we go. Now we're gonna use the Akbronco. I'm gonna fuck that up. Hold on. Sorry. I didn't do the right combination of stuff. We're gonna do this. Armor strip. Just front load the ton of damage. And there you go. And just to show off the Praedos, we will come over here. Oh, I killed them with the explosion. Well, this is a good idea to show, good way to show you guys the just damage she can do with just her abilities. So we'll do this. And just delete, and Glitchy over here does a lot of damage as well. Something I do want to go over real quick, since this is towards the end. If you don't like Zata's Whisper, there is another option you can do using Garuda's Blood Altar, What that will do essentially is constantly pull enemies in, because the enemy that you've targeted with Magnetize and Blood Altar doesn't take any damage, right? So you can constantly pull them in. That's also great. I just don't really like it because of the fact that I like to move around a lot instead of staying in one place. I like to move Magnetize around, explode it, etc., etc. So if you prefer to stay in one spot or a small area and just focus on one little spot, more power to you. You can use the same build just with Blood Altar, right? So that is your other option. I just wanted to point that out in case people wondered why I didn't bring up Blood Altar Mag. It's just not my playstyle, even though I think it's really cool to use. Well, as always, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Next is the solo steel path run. So until next time, guys, bye.